of life bring beauty beyond measure. So, this painting will be called The Quiet Bend, because there's a little bend in the trail. And I'm not sure where it starts. I made it up. But it looks like a place where, once you found this place, you probably would go back a lot. You probably would be there often. And I have found places like this. So I ask myself, why don't I return there often? Especially in the morning. Well, lately in the morning, I'm here, painting pictures. If you're new to the channel, welcome. The channel is called Papa Paints. I'm Papa, and my real name is Larry, for those who are curious about that. But I'm Papa because my grandson calls me Papa. And I'm very happy to be Papa. And so this is a greeting card. I do a lot of greeting cards. Last year I was giving them all away. Well, I gave about 100 of them away. And then I did another 200. So I did about 300 cards last year. That's almost a card a day. But toward the end of the year, the church that I go to was having an art auction. So I donated 200 cards to them, and they were able to auction them off for about $5 each. So I know that's not much for a hand-painted card. Yeah, I know. I've been around the block a few times. But hey, it raised $1,000 for the youth programs at the church. And you know what else it did, by the way? It didn't just raise money. It also got the kids in the church. Oh my gosh, this is probably the most important part of what I did last year and why I'm doing it again this year. The most important part, absolutely, was the fact that the young teenagers in the church, even the preteens, the single-digit ages, the 8-year-olds, the 9-year-olds, they were getting into this. They were painting cards. They were painting paintings, larger paintings, like 8x10s and 16x20s I saw. And they all donated their art to the art auction. It was a really, really amazing thing. It was unexpected. I did not know that if I was promoting every day like I do here on Papa Paints, I was promoting every day that I painted another card for the art auction at the church. And somehow, little by little, the word spread that I was doing it. People were talking about it. People were writing me, asking me if I would hold one card aside just for them. And I did, reluctantly. I don't think I'll do that again because it wasn't fair to the other people. But it was a learning experience. But as I was really on a different track a second ago, I really think the best part of doing these cards was the fact that it generated interest among the young people. And by the way, some of the other old people like me got into the act too. So by the time the auction came around in November, there were a lot of people who had donated art. Robin donated art. Yes, my best friend Robin, sleeping right now in the other room. And yes, I am speaking quietly because I don't want to wake her up. You guys are amazing. Well, thank you so much for the kind words that you've written, by the way. And you make my day with some of those things, so thank you for that. So the next part of this video, you're going to see how I painted this. I kept it in real time. I mumbled a bit here and there so I could, I don't know, just talking to you guys. But I will thank you for being there and encourage you to paint. It doesn't have to look like this. You don't have to paint this. I think you just have fun. Just have fun. I am going to nip it in the bud before somebody thinks that I'm trying to say I'm a great painter. I am not saying that, nor do I believe that. I have done some real crappy work in my life. I know it's one of those things where you just paint and if it works, it works, Plus, when you keep it small like this, it doesn't really matter. Although I kind of like this one, so maybe I'll do this one as a bigger one. I have some 16 by 20 inch canvases that probably, well, I wouldn't use gouache. This is gouache. I would use acrylic or oil. Maybe I'll do that today. Maybe I'll take this painting and make it a bigger painting. What time is it? It's Saturday. So I probably have some spare time today. All right. What did I say this was called? The Quiet Band? I wrote it down up here. Yeah, the Quiet Band. The Quiet Band. All right. Let me show you how I did this right now. Good morning. Let's do another landscape. I think the thing that's going to make this video a little bit on the unique side is I kind of want to focus on the contrast between distant and near imagery. So first, let me show you the paint I'm using. I'm using gouache, and I'm using from the M. Graham and Company. These are the primary colors, blue, yellow, and red. And I also have white and black. I will tell you though that I have replaced black with Payne's Gray, which is this one, also from the M. Graham and Company. And the painting is mostly green, and as you can tell, there's no green on the palette. But blue and yellow will make the green that I want. And then red is not really in the painting much. It's a little bit in the dirt trail. And I do have some orange on here also. This is dried. Couple of these are dried on here. That's a raw umber over there. But the wet ones are blue, red, yellow, and white, plus Payne's Gray. Those are the wet ones. But I'm probably going to use all of them. And the red will help to desaturate the green when I do it. Okay, so let's start first with some water on the card. I'm going to kind of do this like a mixed medium. I never know what to say, media or medium. But I'm going to do mixed. In other words, I'm going to start out as water-ish, like a watercolor-ish thing, but this is not a watercolor demonstration. This is just me mixing the gouache to look like watercolor, and then I'll add more impasto, more pasty kind of a look to it. So let me add some white to that. I know you won't be able to see it, but I'm putting it on the paper so that when I add the blue, it will help lighten the blue for the sky. And now let's do that. See what I mean? See, it makes it nice and light. Because I kind of want a blue sky. A lot of times I'll do an orange sky or a morning sky, but this time I want to do blue. Keep a nice light spot right there for the sun. I can always add a little bit of yellow to that also. There we go, there's our sky. Pretty simple. Pretty simple little sky right there. Alright, now this is the part I wanted to share with you. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this to make some green in the background. And these are going to be distant trees here. I need a little bit more blue to keep it green. Alright, right now it looks blue-green. We want it to be green. So don't worry, I'm gonna make that happen. There it's starting. A little bit more yellow. We're going to keep it kind of washed out so that it has that distant look. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about distant look. Keep it washed out and desaturated. Let's add a little bit of red to it to kind of do that. Red is a very powerful color. So you got to be careful. And right now you can tell that I made a mistake. So that's okay. We're going to bring that yellow, put that yellow in there, get that very soft green. Let's add a little more blue. If I keep going, it's going to be brownish, which we don't want that either. Here we go. Just add more yellow until we get the green we want. That looks good. I'm going to keep adding little areas here. Add a little blue there. So you see how it's all kind of washed out? It's kind of what I want. We've got these distant trees that are having the sun hit them. Go ahead and add a little bit more yellow to it. I can hear the birds outside right now. And somebody commented that it sounds like I'm speaking so that I don't wake my family. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Why do I speak in the way I'm speaking? Well, because Robin is sleeping in the other room. It's not that far away. It's like on the other side of the wall. That's where Robin is. So yes, you're absolutely right. Good call. Good call. I never kept that a secret though. I've always been honest about that. Nothing wrong with keeping your voice low so you don't wake up the family. There we go. A little bit extra. See, now I'm kind of doing an impasto thing. I'm getting very, almost like oil paint, using gouache like oil paint. Nice and thick. And of course I have to let it dry before I paint over it, but right now, there's our distant trees. You see? And there's an orange one over there, I guess maybe it's autumn, I don't know. A little bit extra. I painted a sky one time. I painted a ceiling, I should say. I painted a ceiling one time to look like a sky. And when I say one time, I really mean 2 times. I painted one at the radio station where I worked, and then the radio station was in a mall. So we had one of the vendors in the mall knew about our ceiling that I had painted. So he came in to ask the boss, who painted your ceiling? And he told him I did. So then he asked me to paint his ceiling. And he had like a sporting goods store, and I did. I went over there and painted it. And it's not there anymore. Everything changes, right? Alright, let's add a little bit of paint spray to this. Go ahead and add a little bit of water to that. At this point, water becomes more of a thinning agent than anything else. There we go, a little bit. Alright, let's get this. A little bit of blue in there. Just to paint that lake right there. So what's new in your world? I've been looking at some of these things they have these tours, a bus tour. Have you ever done a bus tour? I was watching a video of a bus tour in Hollywood, California. And I was thinking, I would like to do one of them. I've never done one of them. Well, I take that back. I did one in St. Augustine, Florida. And it was very informative. It was very, very nice. So you might be saying, why are you painting white on white? I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I know why I'm doing it. I guess I just want to put paint on the paper. I just like that look of paint. And then I will add some of the darks onto it and probably come back, because it's actually not white, it's very dirty white, because the paintbrush is corrupted with other paint. Not to mention the fact, also to mention that the water I'm using is dirty water. Sometimes I like to use dirty water. I think dirty water sometimes, I don't know, just adds a little surprise, a little like, oh, I didn't know that was going to look like that. And then you have this happy accident, to use Bob Ross's terminology. Let's get some dark. So I can get some dark in here now, so that I can add some light to this. Add some yellow to that, and that will turn that paint gray into a green, a darker green. There we go. We can take it up into the sky. And I can add the yellows to it in a moment to give it that backlit look. Yeah, that's why I didn't worry about that yellow, that orange right there, because I knew I was going to do that. I thought I was going to do it. I didn't know it. I just figured I would. Just kind of tap it in there. Make sure I keep some of that sky peeking through. Give it a little bit yellow. Maybe a little bit more yellow in the background there. Kind of mix it in there. There we go. Get that yellow look to kind of make this look like it's got a little bit of a piece of land jutting out into the lake. I got this little bit of orange over here. I think I'll try to reactivate that orange right there. Just get a little bit of orange into the brush. What a mess. It's a very mess right now. I might need to get some. Well, that's kind of a cool green right there. You know what? Let me use that for this foreground a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit. bit of a trail right there. There we go. A little bit of a trail going there then. Let's kind of build this up into a foreground that I like. My brushes are I have too many brushes. Yeah, that's better. Can you see it? Does the camera need to be adjusted? Yeah, let's get some of that green in there. I'm going to need to add more yellow to my palette. Just building up this foreground here. I know I didn't paint the foreground trunk in yet, but I wanted to get some of these overhanging leaves here. Let me get a different brush. Let me get a different brush. I'm going to use this one. Whoop, sorry. Didn't mean for that to happen. Okay, I'm going to try to reactivate this burnt umber here. Or raw umber. I reactivate it, get a little bit of brown going on here. It's very green brown. A little bit of orange here. Add some white to that. There we go. Alright, let's get this in here now. Get a tree in there. Bring it all the way to the top. Get a skinnier brush and a little bit to do it different. Get some of these bigger branches here. I'm going to hold off on doing some of these leaves until I get the water looking more like the way I want it to look. Alright, let's get some of this dark green over here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to get some more yellow paint. And a clean brush. See if I can get some of that orange tone that I want in there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reactivate some of that pink tone over here. I'm going to add that to the dirt path. Add some yellow to it. There we go. Let's get some of that yellow here. Look at this, very bright. Yeah, that red is very strong. That'll turn anything almost red. So I'll use it very sparingly. I think the key to almost all of these art assignments is to just do them and to recognize that you're taking chances and you're learning as you're doing it. I think that's really key. And as far as style goes, I was asked about style the other day, and I will talk about that a little bit. I think style just happens. In the beginning, when you first start drawing and painting, you're probably just doing your own thing. You're probably not even thinking about something else other than maybe what you're trying to paint or draw. I do think we develop a style just by doing it, just by constantly doing it and working towards getting better at it and all the time. You know. A bit of sunlight hitting here. Maybe there's some sun coming down here. get some of this yellow over here. Very small. All right, let me add a few more trees here now. I've got one right here. I'll take this one all the way to the top. I like doing it in the impasto way. I like adding it thick paint, almost like sculpting it. Some branches over here. Let's get some of these trees sort of in the distance, but not way in the distance. Add a few over here. We got a little thicker paint right there. All right, let's get some of this. Sort of having that look now. let's just get some more minute details here. Little tiny leaves. All right, we're coming along, I think. me see if I can get that sun looking brighter. Not so sure I will be able to, but I'm going to give it a shot. Get some of this white. Almost fading out some of these areas here. The sun is just coming through it. So I'm mixing white and yellow. Have you ever seen a coral snake? What is the saying they have with a coral snake? Black and yellow kills a fella. Something like that, right? Well, white and yellow. I was just white and yellow. White and yellow is good for sunshine. Doesn't rhyme. Little areas here where the sun is hitting. I think I'm done. I think that's the landscape. We fold it, and so it looks like a card. So it is a card. There we go. I'm not so sure what I'll call that, but it's just a nice little scene going down to the lake. I feel like I could fix something here. Let's grab a little bit of this. Get a little bit of darkness right there. tiny bit. A little bit of a touch-up. All right, well, I'm not sure if it's exactly what I had in mind, but I'm okay with it. So, all right, well, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.